So yeah, quiet please. Welcome to another exciting edition of the Next Level TV program. And this is your regular host, Oscar Bimpong, in the driving seat, taking you to your destination of success. What a wonderful past weeks that we have had. Last week was very powerful, where we discussed how to position yourself in the market that you operate. This week is also another exciting edition, and I'm so much, enthused about this topic because this topic is the foundation of our success in life. What are we going to discuss today? It is about how to create a winning mentality. Have you ever wondered why you fail and you are not able to come out from that failure to be where you have to belong in life? Have you whether wondered why when you lose something, you stay at that to be a losing person? We are here to inspire you, for you to have that mentality that no matter the situation, you can always bounce back. And that's what the next level is about. It's about every topic that can shape you to achieve your dreams in life. Now, what are we going to discuss? This discussion, I've got a guest who I've known for some years now. She is an expert in that field. She knows how the mind works. She's got all the fundamentals about the mind, all the, everything about the mind. She knows how to handle it. And who is in the hot seat? She is the CEO of Master Speakers Consultancy. She is in the person of Elaine Powell. Please welcome to the studio of Zip TV, and you are on the Next Level TV program.
Thank you, Oscar, and thank you for having me at the next level. Looking forward to the next hour, and hello, viewers, as well.
It's been a long time.
Yes.
Where have you been?
Like you, working hard out there,
yes.
making a difference in the world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what we are here to do.
Yeah, definitely. Make a difference.
We are here to leave a legacy. That one day, somebody will read something and say, have you heard of that woman, Elaine Powell?
Yeah.
About 20 years ago, she made a difference, inspiring people to be able to speak in public without fear.
Yeah.
And, I've been following you on Twitter all over the place, and you're really doing a good job. Keep
Thank
it up.
you.
And one of your most successful was the TEDx Croydon.
Yes.
That was really successful. I was like, wow.
That was a
And that was all you're
event.
making.
Well, yeah, it was a seed of an idea, as ideas start in the head, and then I brought a team together, because really in life it's just so hard to do things by yourself. No, there's no I in team. So I brought a team together, and we worked really hard to pull together the event, which obviously happened because of partners and sponsors and the Brit School. It was hosted at the Brit School, which is really a well-renowned entertainment, education establishment. So it was a really great day.
Wow. So next year is going to happen as well?
Well, it'd be this year.
This year. Oh, look at how fast it has come. Wow. That was just last year.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, we're nearly 6 months on. So we're working through the logistics of putting it on this year.
Zip Multimedia would like to be part of it this year because we also want to contribute to our society. Now, we always start this show with the motivational quote of the day. And our motivational quote of the day is always in relation to the topic that we are going to discuss. What is the topic that we are discussing? That is how to create a winning mentality. Our motivational quote of the day is by Tom Ziglar. He is the proud son of Zig Ziglar and CEO of Ziglar Incorporated. What did he say? He says, a negative mind will never give you a positive life. That is very powerful.
Yeah.
A negative mind will not give you a positive life.
Yeah, and I think most people don't have a complete negative mind. It'll be situations occur and their thoughts around it will be negative. Because there will be times in their life where they are positive, you know, when they are happy.
Yeah.
But I always think it's the downtime.
Yes.
It's when things go wrong.
Yeah.
That's where you need to have your tool belt of arsenal of knowing, and just knowing how to deal with the downtime. Because I always believe half your life is going to be up, and then the other half is going to be down. And how do you deal with it when you're down? That's the hardest time.
But that's what makes the difference, and that's what separates the winners from the losers.
Yeah, I believe everyone can have a winning mindset. It's learnt. It's a learnt thing over time.
To an ordinary person on the street, when you talk about winning mentality, what do you mean?
The way you think. The way you think. And they say success is 80%, is down to 80% mindset, which is your attitude, the way that you think, and 20% skills.
Wow.
So you'll find that...
That is very powerful.
Yeah, definitely.
Success is 80% what?
Mindset.
Mindset.
So your attitude, the way you're thinking.
And 20% skills.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I know I've been in sort of workshops around various things, wealth creation, and all the top people like T. Harv Eker, John D. Martini, they all know that in that audience, actually only about 5 to 10% of people will actually make a success of the subject matter that they're learning. And is it because they're smarter? No. Is it because they're better looking? No. It's really about, and they've got the same skills as everybody else in that room, but it's how you think about the business you're going through, how you deal with the bad times. It's all around your thinking. It's so important.
So this is it's a big revelation to me, because 20% skills.
Yeah.
And 80% mindset. So it means that your mindset is very critical to your success in life.
Yeah, I do a lot of work, you know, with young people around public speaking. And I tell the young people, because they're in school, they're thinking, grades, you know, I need to get an A+, an A star, go to university. And I say, you know what, your grades are fantastic, but they're only going to get you to the door for the interview.
Yes.
What's actually going to get you the job is yourself, how you communicate, how you think,
how you present yourself,
how you go from the thought process and it comes out of your mouth. That's what gets you the job, because everybody's got grades.
Yes.
Everybody, you know, we've got an array of people, graduates who have A stars, you know, and first.
Yeah.
But who's getting the jobs?
Yes. In the job market, in the real world, it doesn't work that way. But this, let me digress a little bit.
Go on.
This is where, in our schools, it's more about, is it the hard skills, right? The soft skills is like what you are trying to teach the youth in terms of public speaking, because you need to present yourself, your ideas, to people for them to buy you.
Yeah, and
that one is not taught in schools.
No, don't get me started on that, Oscar. Please don't get me started. Because you remember earlier on you spoke about a legacy.
Yes.
And I was speaking to a really good friend of mine who's on this mentorship program. And during this mentorship program, they spend a year, 2 years. And the aim of it is, what legacy are you going to leave 100 years on? So you think about what impact do you want to make in 100 years' time that people can look back, and then you work backwards. So I sat back and I thought, okay, because a lot of times people just think about, what do I want to do when I'm on this earth now? Not what legacy do I want to leave behind. And I thought, I love communication, I love speaking, but I love the mindset and the legacy I want to leave. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but as Les Brown said, how, you don't need to know the how. How is none of your business. My legacy is that I don't know how I'm going to do it. I really believe that they should be teaching in school how we work internally. Okay. You know, we teach everything in school. You know, we teach how computers work, biology works, plants grow. Why aren't we teaching young people how they grow inside? How does your thinking work? What are emotions? What are values? How does fear work? What is confidence? Yes. You know, it's the most basic thing and the most important thing ever.
This is neglected. This is what you need to know when you are on the real stage of, you know, trying to build a career for yourself or your business. You know, people get out of school and they have been asked to even speak in front of only 5 people. That's the team that he's working with, and they cannot even stand up and speak.
Yeah, and it's all because when I'm coaching people around public speaking, I know a large chunk of my work is about how they're thinking. Because if they weren't thinking anything about themselves, they'd just be able to stand there and talk. But many people can't because they're thinking, oh, people are looking at me, I'm going to mess up, I won't remember the speech, I'm going to make a fool of myself. And so there's this thinking going on. So let's change the thinking. So like, getting back to the legacy, you know, that I really, so anyone out there, if you want to jump on board with me, to really, in schools, get them to start teaching us and our younger generation how they think. Because grades, you can have the best grades ever, but if you're lacking confidence, self-esteem, self-belief, you're not going to do anything with it.
You know, when I finished uni and I was trying to look for my first job, that was when I realized that I've never even been to an interview my whole life, because I wasn't being presented to even, because this thing can be taught at school, that children being in front of a panel just trying to put their ideas across in a form of interview, these things can build you up, but these things are not taught in schools.
No, they actually are. They do have interview skills,
interview skills
yeah,
these days.
for year 11 and 12. They have outside organisations come in, the same as they bring us in to do communication skills. Yeah, they understand the value of someone giving the young people critique on how to be the best you can in an interview.
Do we ever underestimate the potential of our mind?
Do you, Oscar? Do you think you do?
Probably, I don't know. But the mind, I believe I've got so much potential, but do we underestimate it?
Yeah, most definitely. Even I underestimate my potential. The only thing that I do that I know some people don't do is I put myself in situations that are uncomfortable. So the only way we can grow in confidence is to step outside our comfort zone and try something new for the first time. And then you come out, you do it, and you go, oh, okay, that was all right, it wasn't too bad.
Yes.
It was worse in my mind, because in your mind you'll create all these stories around how, you know, I'm not going to be able to do it, and then you do it and you go, oh, that's good, and you do it again and again and again, and you build confidence, you know. For instance, standing on stage speaking in front of 100 people, or riding on a horse for the first time. And so the only way that you're going to find your talents, your abilities, is continually stepping outside your comfort zone and trying new things.
Because what you are saying is something just comes into my mind. When I was doing my MBA program, I'm from a science background.
Okay.
So that was my first time of really getting into business issues. And we're having this module, and the lecturer was talking about unique selling proposition, competitive advantage. He was saying whole lots of things in business, marketing orientation, you know. And I was like, so do you have to go and learn all these definitions before I can really be competitive with the people in the class? Because most of them were coming from a business background. But I was stepping outside my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And before I realized, I was even doing better than those who were coming from a business background. Yeah. So it's like coming out of your comfort zone and trying to really, you know, explore other things. And before you realize, you are even far better than what you even thought you were.
Yeah, because it's natural to have fear and nerves when you're trying something for the first time. But they say failure is actually not trying at all. It's not trying and getting it wrong, because you're learning and you're getting feedback to be better the next time. But actually failure is listening to that little voice inside of you and you don't even try. So it's okay to feel nervous and fear, but people who are successful, they acknowledge that, but then they just still do it. Feel the fear and do it anyway, as that famous book.
And go ahead and do it.
Yeah, just do it anyway, as Susan Jeffrey said.
Because there is a saying that you miss all the shots that you don't take.
I like that one.
Yeah, because if you don't take the shot, what is the probability that you are even going to score, you are going to lose?
Yeah.
And that is what people should know, that no matter the situation, you still need to face it and move on.
Yeah. Sometimes people are very concerned about what other people may think of them. So even with speaking, I know that there's two areas going on with people. There's what they feel about
We will
themselves
come to that.
and what they think about other
That is
people.
the people.
Okay.
We will come to that. That's the two environments.
Yeah, okay.
That's the way I'm going to
I
put
beat you
it.
to it, Oscar.
Yeah. But is it difficult to think positive at all times in contrast to negative thinking?
I can only relate to myself.
Yeah, because that's the best example you have.
Yeah, and I don't think positive all the time. I do have, the moment I'm selling my property and it wasn't selling, and I started to be fearful that, why isn't it selling? And I was feeling quite down for a little while. And then I did what I do it's about awareness, to know that this is just my thinking pattern and I can change it just like that. So I went to church, did a little bit of praise, and then I actually just went for a walk in the park around nature and just became calm. And when you become calm, it's like your problems then can be separate from yourself. Instead of you being in all your problems and possibly negativity, you can just be calm and then sort of view it from outside yourself and look at it rationally and know that everything's just temporary in life.
So can you look at it this way? Your therapy, in terms of when you are down, is church.
Yeah, it's church. It's being quiet.
Being quiet.
Being quiet and looking at it logically and knowing what I know. Because if you don't know, then how are you going to reflect on it? I know that things are temporary and it will pass.
Wow.
It's emotions are fickle. They'll come, they'll go. So anyone can change their emotions, their state of thinking in an instant. Think of a happy thought, Oscar. Think of your favourite food, some jollof rice when you go home later on.
It's already there.
Exactly. Look, instantly you lift yourself
up.
So
it shifts your mentality from being down to being positive about whatever is happening to you.
Yeah, but you have to be aware of what's going on inside of you. So if you're feeling down, if you're feeling low, it's because you're thinking something. So you have to then say, okay, let me stop. What am I thinking that's making me feel this way?
So do people have that awareness?
Yes.
I don't think people have it.
Yeah,
they just go with the flow.
No, lots of people have it, but then some don't have it.
For example, the property is not working. Do people really sit down and say, why am I thinking this way?
I hope so. And if they don't, then after today, I hope some of you will.
Exactly. Because it's a very good point that you are making, that you need to be aware of the emotions that is going through you.
Well, I did a Vipassana meditation retreat where you don't speak for, how many days was it? I think it was 7 days or 10 days. You don't speak at all. And you just did a lot of meditation and you listen to some spiritual teachings. And one of them, the teaching was that, first of all, you have your senses, your 5 senses, smell, taste, touch, and your spiritual sense. So this information comes inside of you, and then you then make a perception about that information. So someone said something to me. Well, you'll think, okay, has that happened to me before? How did I react? So you have a thought about that. And then, after you have a thought around that, that's when the emotions come, and that's when the action comes. So the action comes right at the end, but it's all connected to how you think about a situation. So it's really important that before it gets to the action, we've all maybe not stopped and overreacted to something and sat back and gone, oh, if only I thought about it. Yes. So you have to learn how to stop it as much as you can at the thought, and if you don't, at the emotions, before it gets into the action and you go and do something that you regret later on.
Wow, this is really powerful. Because, so for instance, what you are saying is that if, for instance, now I don't have money,
yeah,
and I start worrying, I should sit back and be aware that what is really causing me to be down. So I will sit back and think that, is it because of I don't have money? That you need to find solution within yourself and say, this is temporal. I'm not going to lack money till the rest of my life. So that one will bring some positivity into you. Is that what you are saying?
Yes, and I also, definitely.
I wanted to break it down,
definitely, yeah. And I also believe that you are the creator of your life. So if you're thinking negative thoughts, it's an energy and it goes out and it creates more of that energy. So if you're thinking negative, you're going to create more negative thoughts, and it's a recurring, it's going to come back on you. So change your thinking into something more positive, and that's the energy you're sending out. That's the thought processes you're going to be sending out for life to bring you what you need. So if you don't have any money, look at your words, I don't have any money. Well, life will then say, okay, you don't have any money. You've got to be aware of your words as well, because that creates things. So change your words, change your thinking, and you'll change your circumstances.
So you are trying to say that if somebody starts thinking negative thought, it will breathe into their system, their
whole
life,
psyche.
and it is going to increase.
I believe it does. I believe it does.
So it is going to compound your problems over time.
Yeah, definitely. And we have examples of, people who, for whatever reason, they just feel they can't deal with life because the thoughts just keep on, the same thoughts.
To the extent that some become suicidal.
Yeah, or, they become alcoholics, or, they become very depressed because they're thinking the same thoughts. Yes. And madness is doing the same thing, expecting different results. It doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
You have to change the pattern.
Same thing, expecting different results. Yeah. That is madness, right?
Yeah, that is madness. Yeah, expecting
really
the same different results.
So you need to do different things.
Yeah.
So if you are thinking negative, it means that to do different things is to start thinking positive.
And it's not
to get a different result.
It's not always easy to suddenly just think positive. Before, I, in my life, and it was only sort of 6 years ago, I went through depression. And I'm like, me, Elaine, I'd never get depressed. But it's only when you go through something, I now can have empathy for people who have gone through it and realize that
because of the experience.
Yeah, when you're in it, it's not as easy to go, oh, I'm going to be positive. It doesn't work that way. So for me, when I was going through the depression, people would say things that I know what I know. And I'm like, yeah, I know that it's only the light's at the end of the tunnel and it's not going to last forever, but I still feel depressed. And for me, there was certain things around me that eventually I let those things come in, like my friends to talk to, like reading books that I knew would uplift my spirit and renew my thinking, going for walks, going to church. All those things eventually lifted me out of my depression. I'd love it to be as simple as sometimes if you're really depressed, let me be positive, but
so it's a gradual process.
It depends on how deep your depression is. If it's just you're depressed because or you're upset because someone says something, it's easy to snap out of it. But if it's more about a broken down relationship or someone in your family's ill, it's much harder to then shift.
But it's still possible.
Of course, everything is possible.
But it's a gradual process.
And it's to know what you know, and to call on those things like friends to talk things through. So it's a gradual thing.
Wow. I think there's one thing I believe, that no matter the situation, you can always get out of it.
Yeah.
But depending on the right guidelines.
Yeah. I
As
definitely agree.
Saying, if you have a depression, which people are the best people to talk to? Your family? Your friends? Do you want to see a specialist? These are the things that we need to know depending on the problem that you have or the situation that you are in. But it's like people tend to solve the problems their own.
Oh, yeah.
By trying to maybe indulge in too much alcohol, starting doing drugs, or, and it escalates the problem.
Yeah, it just makes it worse.
Yeah, but I believe you're making a very sound topic, a very sound point over here in terms of this negative mindset. One thing that I really like is that if you continue with the negativity, the energy increases. And that is not good for you. Yeah,
it's like eating junk food all the time. You're not going to have great benefit.
Yes.
I would say your body is like an engine. We're a vehicle, and your mindset and how your body is, that's your engine. So what are you going to, if you have an engine, are you going to put sugar in it? Are you going to put all these things that eventually the engine's going to clonk out and it's not going to get you to end destination?
Wow.
The same with us in life. What are you putting inside of you? How are you fueling your engine that's either going to get you all the way
I
to
think
Morocco or just to Croydon down the road.
We will come to that. I think I'm really enjoying myself, and I don't know about you, because if you are listening to this program, don't create a positive mentality for only yourself, but cause somebody to listen to the second segment of the program. I'm really enjoying myself and I'm learning a lot. We are going for a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we are going to continue our discussion.
We are on a break.
Yeah.
Yo, this is your boy TPS Snave.
Yo, this just say kill the pain.
Keep watching Zit TV.
For your latest news, entertainment, politics, and for all the latest headlines.
www.zittv.com.
Kill the pain.
Keep it locked. Yo, this is your boy TPS Snave.
Yo, this just say kill the pain.
Keep watching Zit TV.
For your latest news, entertainment, politics, and for all the latest headlines.
www.zittv.com.
Kill the pain.
Keep it locked. Yo, this is your boy TPS Snave.
Yo, this just say kill the pain.
Keep watching Zit TV.
For your latest news, entertainment, politics, and for all the latest headlines.
www.zittv.com.
Kill the pain.
Keep it locked.
Welcome back to the Next Level TV program. And as usual, this is your regular host, Oscar Bimpong, in a driving seat, taking you to your destination of success. What a wonderful discussion that we are having here. How to create a winning mentality. It means that no matter what is happening, you should have a mindset of that winning mentality. Why? Don't give up. You can't afford to give up. Because when you have a winning mentality, giving up is not in your dictionary. Even when you lose, you have lost on the resources, but you haven't lost on your mindset. So your mind is a powerful tool that is the foundation of your success. If the foundation is wrong, the whole house will collapse. So you need a powerful foundation, and the powerful foundation is your mindset. And who is an expert in this to discuss this pertinent topic? She is the person that I've told you that I've known for so many years, and she knows everything about the mind.
Oh, everything. I know a lot though.
Welcome back
Thank you, Oscar.
to the Next Level TV program. I know you are giving so much information that people should have even bought it, you know. They should buy it. This information, they are having a whole book just in an hour. That's a lot of information, you know. I always tell people, don't go and read books. Come to the Next Level TV program.
Yeah.
All that is in that book, we give it to you in an hour.
Yeah, and all their senses are being stimulated, the visual, the auditory, you know.
Everything.
Yeah, the feelings.
I'm really enjoying myself. And as I walk through this door, I'm going to have a winning mentality from today.
I think you do already, Oscar.
I do already.
You
Maybe
do
I will
already.
step it up.
Exactly. I always think, you know, we're on this earth, as far as I know, one time. Why not try and be the best you can?
Yes.
Be the best you can in this lifetime.
There's no second chance.
Well, not that I know of, but
And
hopefully there's another chance elsewhere.
Yeah, and it's not a rehearsal.
Exactly, exactly.
It's the real 90 minutes football that we are playing.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. A concept that I use about play the game. So I'd like to tell you about it, but I know you have your questions. But when you're ready about how to play the game.
No, we can go on.
Yeah?
Let's play the game.
I came across this philosophy, and I think it's just like all thinking. There's certain philosophies you can take on board that's going to help you get to a higher level quicker, and a philosophy in the thinking that's going to take you the other way. But I like this thinking, which is if you take life as a game, and therefore when it's a game, you can think, okay, so what game am I going to play? For instance, I want to spend part of my year in the USA, in LA. So I was like, oh, okay, so how am I going to do that? Because it's the how that stops lots of people from doing things. Because they go, I don't know how. And I thought, well, why don't I just go there and see what game can I play? I know I've got skills, I've got talents. So let me start talking to people and start playing a game. So it's this game. If it's a game, you win, you lose, you draw.
Yes.
But do you stop playing or do you carry on?
Do you carry on?
Yeah, and just so that people can really understand about the playing the game to win, I remember when I was doing TEDx last year, it was the first time I'd ever done an event like this. And, you know, we were getting sponsors on board because we had to get money. And I was developing a property at the time. So money was a big stress factor for me at the time. And I remember I hadn't slept for like 2 days because I'd been worried about money and how am I going to get these sponsors on board. And I remember I was sitting on a train going to London Bridge, and I thought, Elaine, think of this stage in your life as football, a game. So I'm possibly in the 3rd division and I'm finding it difficult to deal with the stress. How am I ever going to be in the Premiership level if I can't deal with the stress in the third division? And just that thinking in an instant made me go, oh, and I just relaxed and I stopped stressing about things. So it's just a game.
So you need to handle the pressure where you are before you can move to the next level.
Because life possibly won't give you that next level if you can't even handle where you are now.
Exactly.
And we see that in everyday life where people, they just can't handle it, so they give up. But it's like a game of football. You're in Premiership level. You lose a game, so does Arsenal say, oh, we're going to sit back now? No, they just go on to the next game until they either win or not the championship.
Yes.
So why don't we take on that philosophy in life? Because it's just a thinking.
You know, this brings me to my one of my few philosophies in football.
Okay.
And
What have I started?
Yeah,
Football.
exactly. But there's one thing that I've learned is that, you know, when a team loses a match,
Uh-huh.
they don't say because we lost we are not going to play the next game.
Yeah, we're no good.
No. They go, sit back, see where it all went wrong,
Yes.
practice,
Yeah.
and come back and face the next team.
Feedback is king.
Exactly. But what happened to our normal lives when we lose?
Yeah.
Sometimes we just give up.
Yeah, and we start beating ourselves up. It's because I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not this, I'm not that. Instead of going, it's just feedback. Feedback about how I could maybe do it better the next time.
So failure is feedback.
Well, they say there's no such thing as failure. It's just learning how to do it better the next time.
Wow.
So it's how you think about something. I don't see, or most of the time, I don't see things that to other people it's going wrong as a problem, because I know I've got something to learn from it. And whatever happens to me, you know, whether now I have to say I have sold my house, so I'm much happier. But even then, even in that midst of all that, I knew it was because I needed to learn something.
Yes.
So I looked at the situation and thought, well, what do I need to learn? And I had made mistakes. And so every situation that comes along, I don't see it, or even problem, I don't see it as a problem. I just see it as, what do I need to learn from this that's going to get me to the higher level of being?
So does it mean that having a winning mentality is a learning curve of everything that has happened to you?
Definitely. It's the makeup of who I am, of who you are.
Wow.
So you either learn from it or you blame other people.
So it makes you stronger or weaker?
Yeah,
Depending
well,
on how
that's
you
that
take,
saying.
Depending on how you take it.
Yeah.
Very powerful. What separates the winners from the losers?
See, I don't think I don't think in terms of winners and losers. I just think in terms of people who have a higher level of thinking and enlightenment, and everyone can get there. So I don't really see people as losers. I just feel that they're at a level that they need to learn something to take them up to the next level. So yeah, I don't really.
So do people learn in the first place?
Let's just say there's people who learn by watching, then there's people who learn by doing their own thing and learning that way. For instance, I have members in my family, young members in my family, and one of my nephews will learn by watching other people. The other nephew, he'll watch other people, but he has to go and touch it himself. So he learns by doing, and then he learns that lesson. So we all have different ways of learning.
But why is that some people are below and others are up? Does it mean that those who are below are not learning enough?
I do really, just like many other people, believe that our foundation years at home, in the environment we're in, that's the foundation of our confidence, our self-belief. And if those foundation years are solid, then even though we go through shakier times in life, whatever happens at home and your family, your parents, are they feeding you, junk food, or are they feeding you vegetables and fruit, metaphorically, for you to deal with situations when they're difficult? You can then go back to your foundation. So I think your younger years are really the stepping stones for you to reach your goals much quicker. I feel that I reached them enlightenment and I'm still on the enlightenment journey much later on in life, but at least I've started.
Exactly. You haven't stayed at the level that you thought, oh, I should have done better, but you have moved on. Is there a time limit?
No, because
because you meet people, you said, I'm too old to learn, I'm too old to do this, I'm too old to do that. And before you realize they're even 30 or 40, they're not even older.
Yeah, I felt that I was what I call in zombie land in my 20s, so I just wasn't aware of anything very much. I was just going through the rat race, going through life's motion, not really thinking deeply on anything. And I personally hit a really low point in my life in my late 20s. I guess, that's the second time in my life, but I wasn't aware that I was depressed, started drinking a bit, just not taking care of myself. And I remember I was on the tube and I remember this young man was talking to this woman about God, and she was like, yeah, you could just see she wasn't having it. She just wasn't interested. But something about the young man caught my eye, and we started talking, and we went upstairs to have a coffee, and I said, I have so many questions. Why? If there is a God, why is my life like this? Why? Why does he let pain and struggle? And I just believe that the quality of your life is the questions you ask. If you ask low-level questions, you're going to get low-level answers. Start asking big questions, and answers are there in the universe to come to you if you look around for them. So I started asking bigger questions, and for me, that was when they say the third eye, my eyes started opening, and I started looking at life in a different way.
That was divine.
Yeah,
just on the train.
Yeah, just on the train, and it was just at the right time in my life. And you know, I started to go to church. I started to read all the personal development books, and I felt like I was a sponge, Oscar. It's like I was like, give me more information, and my eyes were opened about life.
You were desiring for it because it was really enlightening you in terms of. So all these were there when I was struggling.
Yeah, it's like I started to live at a deeper level. It wasn't so shallow anymore. You know, if you live life shallower, you're only going to get the surface stuff. I say things that are precious are buried. Yeah. Rubies, emeralds, gold. It's all buried.
They are all buried.
They're not on hardly. They say gold's on the surface, but it's buried somewhere in a mountain.
Buried, yes.
So it's the same within us. You have to go deep within yourself to find those rubies and those treasures that are.
If diamond was on the street, nobody would struggle. But the difference is that some people have taken it upon themselves to fish for that diamond somewhere.
Yeah.
So you need to fish for yourself what is actually within me, one that can help me to move to the next level, and what is drawing me back.
Yeah. See, I spend time talking about the mindset, but then there's a whole time to speak about spirituality and the connection with the universe, and that's another essence that takes you on to a higher level.
That can be another topic for discussion.
Yeah, but I don't feel I'm still on my journey in the spiritual realm. You know, whereas the mindset, I've worked with young offenders, you know, using cognitive behavior therapy, helping them to improve their thinking. Obviously, that got them into the problems in the first place. And then I now work with young people and adults coaching, public speaking. And I've started to now go out and do more talks around the mindset because I just love talking about it and helping people live to a higher way of being.
Mindset is very powerful, you know. I was telling people we underestimate the power of our mind.
We underestimate our power.
The hard drive of a computer can say it's full, you know. But your mind is never full. But the point is, what kind of information are you putting in your mind?
Yeah.
That is the most important thing. Is it true that success and failure starts in the mind?
Wow. Does it start in the mind?
Because the point is, if I tell you, Elaine, with this your mindset seminars and all that you are doing, I can guarantee you the next 5 years, you will be across the world speaking about mindset. And the first thing that comes into your mind is, it's not possible.
No, not mine. No, not with me.
I'm just asking, you know,
no,
just an example.
That wouldn't
Is that
come
example
there.
that I'm making? That success and failure starts in the mind.
I believe it does, but I think it's not just a black and white thing, because, you know, a young child, when they're a baby, they're not thinking. They're just sponges. They're taking in a lot of information. So they're seeing things. Sometimes children see things that they shouldn't see, and they're storing it somewhere. And then when their brain starts to develop and they're thinking the language, because without language, you can't
Communicate.
you can't communicate, because you can't say that's the sun, that's fear, that's happiness. So does it start with thinking? I think for me, it possibly starts before that, when we're just developing and we're taking in this in the hard drive.
Yeah.
And then when the thinking process starts to develop, all of that information is going to be downloaded. And yeah, it's not a question someone's ever asked me before.
But I believe it starts in the mind. That is my thinking.
I would say, obviously, I do believe in the mind, but then there's the area of the spirit and the body as well that carries things. You know, they say that we're mind, body, and soul. So I can only talk about thinking, but I think there might be all three of them. I can't negate and say that it starts totally in the mind because I don't know 100%.
Do you know some people are already defeated? For example, somebody going for a 100 meters race with Usain Bolt, yeah?
Yeah.
Somebody can already be defeated in their mind before they blow the whistle to start the race.
Yeah.
Because that person is thinking, wow, how can I overtake this man? This is where the angle that I'm coming from. Because your mind, you know, but somebody...
But it's going to go from past experiences.
Somebody will tune their mind and say, I don't care about Usain Bolt. I will go there and do my best.
Yeah. And you never know, during the race, Hussein might fall down and then you will beat him.
He might get a muzzle pull.
Yeah, and you never know.
Or he might slip.
But remember, people will go through past experiences and what they feel they know.
Yeah.
So that's why
it plays back.
Yeah, they'll do the mind reading. They'll have the sort of the fortune telling. So when people say to me, "Oh, I can't do this," or "I can't, this is going to happen," I said, "Well, can you give me your crystal ball? Because if it works, wow, I'll make a fortune." Yeah. But none of us have a crystal ball. You don't know what's going to happen, so why try and create that situation before it's even happened?
Why do some people choose to stay at the losing level when they fail?
Lots of reasons. There's not just one reason. It's learnt behaviour. So maybe when they were... I believe a lot our foundation years and when we're teenagers as well. So if you haven't got people around you who help you to see life in the best way possible, you're going to revert to patterns that are survival mode, that help you deal with things at that time in your life. And it might be good for you to deal with things. Say, for instance, a young girl's getting bullied or something, and her survival mechanism is to ignore it. It will help for a time, but after a while, she's going to have to use a different approach to it.
For example, confronting it all.
Yeah, and why do people stay in a certain? Because it's easier sometimes. It's easier for people.
Stay at that
and
level.
Fear is a really big thing that holds all of us back at some point in our life. You know, can I deal with this? Can I really get through this? And the simple answer is yes. Yes, you can.
You know, you talked about patterns, right? So, for example, somebody getting married and maybe in 2-3 years, she get divorced. And the person start thinking, it's the same thing that happened to my mom. Is this something that can cause them to stay at that level of divorce for the rest of their lives because they don't want to bring themselves out to even get married again?
Yeah, that's very possible. But I can only say with myself, sometimes people aren't aware of even their thinking pattern. So with me, I think it was 10, 15 years back, I went on a course. And it was a landmark education course. And they deal with a lot what's going on inside. And it was the first time that they said to me, are you thinking about what you're thinking about? I was like, So they said, monitor your thoughts and see what is your thinking. And for about a week and a half, I started to be more aware of my thought patterns. And I discovered that about 40 to 50% of it was very negative. Wow. It was a lot of blame. It was a lot of worry. It was anxiety. And I wasn't aware that that was my thinking. And so therefore your thinking is your actions, is your results.
The awareness is one of the difficult ones.
Well,
because I think we just carry with the flow.
Yeah, a lot of people it's like a zombie. As I said, I was a zombie in my 20s. I was just doing what I was doing, seeing the results and not even looking at how I was making it all happen. I was doing the blame game. Oh, it's their fault. This person did that. That's why I reacted this way. No, I reacted that way because I have a choice. So I didn't realise my own power and awareness now. And once I was aware of how I was thinking, I gradually started to change that thinking.
How did you do that?
every time I started to think or say something negative, I would just stop myself because I was now aware of it. And every time I was like, no, stop. I didn't. It's like within your brain, if an example of that is when I start to play the guitar, I learned to play the guitar.
Wow.
And first of all, when you learn a piece, you have to be very conscious and aware of it. After about a couple of weeks, your fingers will naturally go to where it does it. So it's the same in the brain. You have something happens, you have a thought pattern, and the more that you entertain that thought pattern, the more the synapses creates that rope. So think of it as a rope.
So you need to break that thought pattern.
That's why people go to see hypnotists and psychotherapists to actually break the rope. But really, you can't break it. You need to start creating a different rope, i.e. you need to give your attention to something positive, and after a while that thinking, it's like the ropes will just get thinner and thinner, and eventually it will disappear. But the more you think about something, the more you're going to create a stronger thought pattern around it. So start creating a different thought pattern, and that one, it won't completely disappear, but it will just subside.
One will overshadow the other.
It does.
That means there cannot be two masters in your mind.
Yeah.
One is to overrule the other.
Yeah, and for me, with the thinking process, it was the more that I started to be aware and stop worrying and just be aware of my emotions, how I was feeling. It's because I was thinking something negative. After a while, it stopped. And then I had this space inside of me. It was like a bubble of inner peace, because that thought process stopped. And when you stop that thought process, you just have peace and quiet. And I was like, okay, I'm not used to this inner peace thing.
So it's like pinching yourself when that thought process or thought pattern comes.
Yeah. Or some people have like an elastic band that they snap and they just, and it stops you like perpetuating.
So over time, because I was reading about something, and it was telling me positive and negative thinking cannot operate at the same time.
Yeah.
One operates at a particular time, and the other is being shadowed at the background.
Yeah.
But for some other people, the negatives really dominate. So if it dominates, then always the positive is on the background.
Yeah.
So to reverse it and make the positive to come on the forefront, that is where you need to break that thought pattern of the negative. And that's what we are saying.
Yeah, you have to take responsibility as well, because some people will stay in that negative state because they're always blaming other people instead of taking responsibility for, well, what did I do anything, or what did I do to help maybe escalate this problem? Could I have done something better, or to not make it happen the next time? So if you take responsibility, you take power. You have the power then to change it. But if it's always blaming somebody else, then you don't have you can't change things yourself.
Blame game.
Yeah.
What do winners do differently when they fail in comparison to the losers? What do they do differently? Like somebody being a failure, and that person is able to pick up the pieces and come back to where he belongs.
Yes.
What do they do differently
from
people that stay at that level?
They're not much probably watching Coronation Street. they're filling themselves. Remember, think of yourself as an engine. What are you filling yourself with? So the people who get to the top, or the 5% in the world, it's because they think differently. There's a saying that those who have, it's not because they're better or anything like that. It's they do what others don't in order to have what others don't.
They do things differently.
They do things differently. They think differently. So what are you filling yourself up with? Are you reading books? Are you talking to people who are successful so that you can learn from them? Or they say, if you want to bake a cake, don't ask a mechanic, ask a baker.
Ask a baker.
If you want to go into property investing, don't ask your uncle who has a sweet shop, ask a property investor. So if you want to be successful, ask people who are already there.
Who are already
Ask
there.
their advice. How do I get there?
And we don't do it. We waste
Your
time.
cousin and your
We-
uncle's brother's daughter, and yeah.
East Enders, eh?
Yeah. What are
Yes.
you filling yourself up with? What are you spending your
reading,
time?
reading the Sun newspaper, huh? Instead of maybe the Telegraph or, you know, that things that will impact your life.
Are you going to workshops that are helping you to have more enlightenment, to develop your mind? You know, even workshops around wealth creation, they'll spend a lot of time around your thinking.
Around your thinking, yes.
Yeah, read books, speak to wise people, go out and in a park and just sit down and be around nature, because nature in itself is very intelligent. Nature does not fight against itself. The river does not fight, it flows in one direction. It's not trying to fight against itself. We are part of nature, so why are we fighting against ourselves? We should just be like nature and just go with the flow.
Very powerful. Does winning mentality start with self-belief? Briefly.
Self-belief, self-confidence, identity. It's looking within yourself and finding what is it you need to understand about who you're being to make yourself a better person. But for me, I think the focus is, who on this earth can I be the best person I need to be? And because that's my destination, I'm finding ways, and life is helping me to make that happen. Life is just not about you here. It's about people in your life. It's about nature and the universe helping you to accomplish something in this life. So are you just wanting to work to live, or are you looking to live life large and make a big impact?
Another brief one. There's a lot happening in our inside that is being experienced outside, right? And there's a lot of things happening outside that is coming in on our inside.
Yeah.
How do we manage the two?
Well, when things come from the outside, it is coming from outside. So when I'm teaching young people about leaders, I say great leaders know that you don't need to fight every battle.
Okay.
Pick and choose which battles that you're going to fight and which battles are important to you.
Wow.
If someone says something to you, it's your choice if you take it on board.
I've really loved it. And
Well, we got to stop, Oscar.
And promise me you are coming back.
We could carry on for a long
Don't
time.
worry, you will come back. Thank you very much for listening to this powerful discussion where we've talked about how to create a winning mentality. Next week, we are going to talk about change management. And trust me, what are you changing to be abreast with time? We will be here to discuss that. I've really loved it. Talk to a friend, and tune in next week, Sunday, 5 p.m. prompt. And we are going to have a powerful discussion. This is your regular host, Oscar Bimpong, with my guest, Elaine Powell. We say, have a powerful and a blessed week. See you next week.
Take care.